I never thought that the planned closure of a business that I was not personally a part of would have an emotional impact on me. But boy, was I ever wrong. When I was younger, I had businesses that I worked for shut down. The closures were always beyond my control, and my feelings then were ambivalent because I was made aware of what was coming and had some new adventures or jobs lined up in a different field that gave me new hope for the future. Even after being let go from a company that I'd worked for almost 3 decades, I knew that I had some in-demand skills, and I was back to work doing something new after just about a month. I was too busy to dwell on the past. It was only after the doctors told me that I was suffering from heart failure and would not be able to go back to work that things changed. It was the first time in my life that I didn't have something to look forward to. I had time to look back on everything that had happened in my life. And even with the time for reflection and introspection, I only had a few regrets. I finally had time to get involved with the business that my wife's father had built and passed down to his children, my wife and brother-in-law. Since it was nothing strenuous, it also didn't actually pay me anything. So the only disappointment when it shut down was that I was now going to have to find things to do on my summer weekends. Not exactly a huge downside. Then today I got online to check the news and I saw the headline: Third generation store Star Beacon closing after selling school supplies, crafts since 1936. It felt like a spear in my heart. Not only had Star Beacon been my go-to place for school supplies and stuff that you just could not find in a regular store for my children and grandchildren, it's been owned by the family of a high school friend for 3 generations. It was a place that more than a couple of neighborhood kids got their first job out of high school. I can remember when I was in Catholic grade school hearing the teachers talking about stopping by Star Beacon on their way home to pick up supplies for upcoming school projects. It's been a mainstay at the greater Columbus education community for 3 generations. And by August 31st, it'll be gone, a victim of many things. The ability to order some things that they carried from massive online retailers was so simple. What those folks didn't realize was that they paid a price in cash and time for that convenience. Star Beacon often had those same or very similar products on hand for immediate pickup and also sold them at a lower price. That free shipping isn't really free after all. If the convenience of online shopping started to put Star Beacon into its coffin, the pandemic, with schools going remote and less need for actual school supplies because everything was being done on computer or smartphones, started to close the lid. Who needs pencils, maps, timetables, art supplies and such when it can be supplied by electrons on a screen? Even before the pandemic, suppliers would often fill orders for the big box stores first and only sell to the small suppliers later and at a higher price. With both the 2020 presidential candidates promising trillions of dollars for infrastructure improvement, container ports operators had no incentive to fix broken container cranes when they knew the government would pay the bill for them. All they had to do was wait. That started the supply chain shortages in a worldwide economy. The operators didn't care how it would affect businesses. They got paid either way. And the effect that it had on small businesses was catastrophic. Having to wait up to a year and a half for orders that used to come in a month or two and then possibly be out of season, requiring the store to either find storage space or sell at a loss, was the final blow. slamming the lid shut and nailing it down. I'm going to forego my normal close today. I'm going to ask you to go to starbeaconproducts.net, or if you're in the Central Ohio area, go to Star Beacon and shop before this wonderful little store is just a memory and one more empty storefront.